Good evening, fellow Plexers. Today's video is going to be about doing a plain Jane Plex server install video on a Synology NAS. So this will work for anyone running a AMD or a Intel-based Synology NAS. So let's talk about files for a second, media files. I like to recommend one shared media folder for all your Plex media. Resist the urge to create a movie shared folder, a TV shared folder, and a music shared folder. Have just one. And obviously you can see I've had Plex installed on this before, and there's nothing installed now. There's no Plex media server folder. So this is just a shared folder that wasn't deleted when I uninstalled Plex for this video. So one shared media folder. Because you might move on to a Docker setup later on once you get rolling with Plex, keep the shared media folder lowercase, and if it must be 2 words, no spaces. Do something like this, media-plex or something. So in that shared media folder, I recommend having a Plex sort folder or a sort folder for each type of media library. A sort folder for movie libraries, a sort folder for TV show libraries, a sort folder for photo and other video libraries. And it's not as likely that you'll have multiple music libraries. So if you want to make this just a music library folder, that's fine. If you're going to have multiple music libraries, this would be music-libraries. So inside my movie-library sort folder are different Plex movie libraries. So once you're into that structure, then you return to normal naming of using uppercase letters and spaces for both the movie folder name and the movie or subtitle file names. So the same with the TV show library structure. So this allows you to have a separate anime library in the future if you want, a separate DVR library if you add a HD home run tuner and you don't want to mix in content that has commercials in it with things you've ripped yourself or acquired yourself that's commercial free. You could have a kids or a cartoon library and then a main one. So again, once you're into that library structure, you return to uppercase letters and spaces. And let me just phrase this the right way. Never ever replace a natural space with a period. Those are scene release file names. Don't do it. And then once you're into this level, the season folders will have spaces, and then the actual episodes, spaces and uppercase letters. But no underscores, no periods for a replacement for a space. I crack myself up sometimes. So one shared media folder is the best. About the only time you'd want a separate shared media folder is if you felt it was best to add an expansion unit, if your NAS is able to take one, and you wanted to create a new volume on that expansion unit, then add a second shared media folder. But one shared media folder sets you up for a trash guide setup down the road. Definitely Google that. It's all about automation, and it just sets it up good. Now, I do have Plex installed as a Docker container on this NAS, but that container is not running. Okay, so we got the file structure suggestions out of the way. So to install Plex, there's 2 ways to do it. Go to the Package Center, and while you're here, if you're brand new to a Synology NAS, click on Settings, click on Package Sources, Add, and add in this URL, https://packages.synocommunity.com. And I'm just going to call this Syno Community. Now you don't need this to find Plex server. Okay, so click OK, and now you can just search Plex. Enter. Plex server is ready to be installed. It's a version or two behind. You can also install the current version. Let's see. Right from Plex's downloads. Let's start fresh here. Just search Plex downloads. Most likely this URL will be on top. It will auto-detect under the server tab the operating system of the PC or portable you're running this browser on. So change that to Synology DSM 7.2.2 Plus. Now, if you're running this older Synology NAS that's capable of running either DSM 7 or the current 7.2.2 and beyond, upgrade to whatever you can run first before you install Plex. If you're on an older NAS that can only run DSM 7, that's a separate application install, just as DSM 7 is, and just as DSM 7.2.2 is, because they made changes to how Plex is. So I will click that, and then I've got the beta switch turned on. I don't want the beta release. I want the regular package release. And if you're running a regular AMD processor or the 9th gen Celeron in any Plus model NAS, it's always going to be the Intel AMD 64-bit NAS. Now, if you're running a Synology NAS that's really only as powerful enough to be a file server, it'll be one of these two, but you'll have to check with your model number to see what type you need to grab. So you see I've already got this file downloaded. I don't need two of them, but that will get you started. We're going to go with the other install, and this way when we're all done I can show you how to update Plex to the latest install. So it doesn't take too long to install. And while it's installing, think of a name. Now, if you've already have Plex installed and maybe you're moving it to the Synology NAS, you could install with a Plex claim token, but I'm going to show you how to claim a Plex server. You don't need the Plex claim token, so we'll just hit next. This is the version that's being installed, and I'll let it run after application. And if this takes 2 minutes, that's an exaggeration. It just doesn't take that long to install. Now, I recommend screenshotting these instructions. Basically, this is how you set permissions to your shared media folder or multiple shared media folders. Very easy. Open Control Panel, select Shared Folder. Select the share, and that's the shared folder, which contains your media, and click Edit. Change the permission. Click the Permissions tab, and then change the drop down from local users to system internal users, and then check Read Write checkbox for Plex Media Server. It could be read only. You would need Read Write if you were ever going to add a DVR like a Plex HD Home Run Tuner to it to then set up Plex DVR Live TV. And the DVR portion of that requires a Plex Pass. The Live TV portion does not. Then you save the permissions, and then you do the same thing over from multiple shared folders. I'll show you. It's not that hard. So, let's go to All Packages and Installed. Plex Media Server is running, but there's no permissions. So, let's show you what that looks like by claiming the server first. So I could click Open, but if I do, it's going to use a local host address, and that will be my quick connect address of this Synology NAS, and I don't want to show that. So you can always claim a Plex server with a default IP address. So let me get a new window open. So I know the direct IP address of this NAS, but if you don't, let's show you how to get that first. Go to Control Panel, go to Network, go to Network Interface, and right here, LAN 1, there's my IP address. Let's go back to my web browser. That didn't copy, so it's 192. What is it? 168.68.116. And you see I've done this before. Then you have to do :32400/web. When you do that, you're going to find your server. Choose got it. Now it's suggesting a name for it. Because I already had this on this NAS and I deleted it, I'm going to use the same name I had before I started filming. And allow access to media outside my home. It won't do it unless you've got UNPN enabled. I don't. I never have that enabled on my router. So you will have to forward a port for this to work if you're able to forward a port. Some people are stuck behind CGNAT or they've accidentally double netted themselves. The double net situation would have to be fixed, and sometimes you can buy your way out of CGNAT by paying your ISP $5 extra to get your own external IP address from them. CGNAT is multiple customers sharing one IP address externally, and then it blocks port forwarding because you don't have your own external IP address. So I'm clicking next. I'm a wealth of information, aren't I? So we should get the welcome screen after this, for the server setup. So I'm going to add a library. I'm not going to be able to, but I'm going to try. I'll click next, browse for media, volume 1, and I will find my shared media folder, and I don't see anything because I don't have permissions. So let's go back to DSM. So we'll go into Control Panel. I'll go into Shared Folders. Here's my shared media folder. I'll click it. And I have to click Edit, but I can't do it and show it to you guys, and I don't want to waste the time to edit that part out. So I'm going to take it off screen. I'll click Edit. Oh, actually, sorry. Let's do that again. I jumped the gun. So select your shared media folder, click Edit. You'll be at this screen. This is what I can't show. I can't show you clicking the permission tab. So I'll click the permission tab, and then I'll change local users to system internal users, which is right here. Change local user to system internal user. Find Plex media server. You want to see it fully. There it is. Check read write. And then check save. And you'll input your admin username and password, and you'll be all set. Now that Plex server has permission. So let's see if it'll happen right now without restarting it. Media, the movie library sort folder, and now I see the contents of that. So I'll choose the main-movie library folder, click add, and then here's a pro tip. Click the Advanced tab and make a decision on whether you want to get the automatic collections from TMDB added to your server when you have movies. So let's show you that. And I show the same thing in every video I talk about this. I always go to Back to the Future. So you see how there's movies and then collections. You can see the collection right here, but let's go into one of the movies first. Back to the Future. If I slide down, you don't always see it at first. You got to give this a second to load. And then see how the view the collection appeared. It's at the tail end of the web page loading. If I view the collection, it shows all the movies in the collection. So there's all kinds of TMDB collections already made, and they already have artwork. They already have a description. Nice feature, right? So to enable that, where are we? All right, to enable that, you're in the Advanced tab, and you slide down to where it says minimum automatic collection size. It's either disabled or a choice. One would be a collection would be made as soon as you add the first movie or any single movie from the collection. Two is what I like. I have to have at least 2 movies from a collection before that automatic collection gets created. Some people only like to see the big collections created automatically, so they could pick 3 or 4. So Back to the Future wouldn't be created until you had all 3 movies. It would not be created if you chose 4, but a series like Fast and Furious would. So 2 works for me. And now there's one more choice. The default is show collections and their items. Then you have hide collections but show their items. Hide items which are in collections. That's what I like to pick. And let's go to my Plex server to show you what that's about. Let's go to Home. Let's go to Movies. So you've got your recommended library and collection tabs. I have a lot of collections. The ones that TMD makes, my own personal smart collections, and my own personal manual collections. So one setting, well, there's 3 settings. So the default settings will show the movies and the collection all in the library tab. Another option will show only the collection posters, which I need to find an example of that. 3 Men and the Baby should be someplace here. Three Men collection, it says. Am I missing it? The littlest things trip me up. Oh, I'm not seeing it because I may not have this library set up the way I needed to have it set up to show it. How did I leave this setting? Hide collections but show their items. Okay, so I am hiding the collections and you'll only see them over here. If I change that, hide items that are in collection and save it, it's going to revamp the library. And suddenly anything in a collection won't be seen from the library tab. It can still be searched for, and you'll see the collections. And with the amount of movies I have, it's going to take a little bit. See how it's scanning the library again? But all those automatic collections are here. So that's enough about collections. But you have a choice to make, and you can just leave it at default for small media collections. It doesn't hurt anything. You might think differently when your collection grows. So I'll add the library, and let's add 2 more libraries. Let's do a TV show one. Next, browse, volume 1, my shared media folder, my TV-library sort folder, and then the main TV library folder. Click add. There's also an advanced option. By default, episode ordering is set to the movie database. If you name exclusively from the TV database, like I do, make that choice globally. All right, let's add a music library. Well, I could just click add folders. I don't have to click next. I'll browse, same volume 1, same media shared folder. And now this is not a music library sort folder, it's just the music library. And I was doing a test. This is supposed to all be public domain media, and obviously it's not in this library. And then you don't have to change anything under advanced for a music library. Unless you want to analyze tracks for the sonic feature. All my music is has been run through MusicBrainz Picard, so it has perfect tags. I've used MusicBrainz Picard in a way that it embeds the artwork into the metadata, so my folder and file structures are pretty simple. I don't have graphics. I don't have anything besides just the songs and just the structure. Okay, and then next, and then you're done. So this goes to my main web app, and if you don't understand it, multiple servers all show up in the same interface. I have to click the settings, and then I can pick which server I want to change settings to. But as a web app, everything is here. So Walker63 is the name of my main server, and if I slide down, you'll see my test server on a Ugreen NAS. You'll see a test server running on my newer Synology NAS from an SSD volume. And now you'll see this package. Well, this is from my old install. So if I drop down, here's the 3 libraries I just created. And I can also find them this way from the settings. As long as I, on this server and have it selected, I can slide down to manage libraries and see everything. So that's about it. That's how you get it going. And of course, if you have hardware acceleration, you would go into Transcoder, and its tone mapping is already enabled, and hardware acceleration is, and that might be because I deleted the server and named it the same. But if it's not, let's save changes. So if not, you'd be here. You'd use hardware acceleration, save the changes. Disable transcoding of the video stream and transcoder operations. With this set, the transcoder may still transcode audio as well. I'll leave that enabled. I'll use hardware video encoding, save changes. And because I like to see my iGPU, I'll select it here. Now, a newer Synology NAS, like I think a 425 has a Celeron processor, which will enable the new HEVC transcoding. So you can enable that on that device. Something like a 925 that uses an AMD processor, you won't see these options. So it kind of depends on which Synology NAS you have. Let me change to this one. And that's where you'll see the new HEVC options. Always can be enabled, and this can be checked. And I guess you don't want to check disable video stream transcoding. All right, so now that is it. That's how you set permissions. That's how you get Plex installed. And, oh, I fear we're missing one thing. Let's change back to the server. I promised an update. So if I look here, you'll see for this server, there's an update available. So if I go into General Settings and Updates Available, all I have to do is click Please Install Manually. It will automatically download the right file. I'll click Save. Sometimes it takes a second or two for it to download. Oh, this is blocked. Let me choose keep. So now you go back to DSM. You go back to Package Center. Click Installed. Click on Plex Media Server. Click the little down arrow. Click Stop. Yes. And you don't have to mess with permissions again. You just do the update and run Plex and you'll be fine. So now that it's stopped, you click Manual Install. Browse to the file you just downloaded. Select it. Agree. Done. And it installs and it will run Plex again for you. You get the same instructions on how to set permissions, but you don't need to do that again. I guess I have to run it manually. So if we bring the server back up, the red triangle with the exclamation point means it's unavailable, and now it's up. It takes Plex a second or two to start back up. It'll be running, but not accessible. The larger your media library is, this could take 30 seconds to 60 seconds to be accessible again. And you see, we're up to date. So that's how you install it, that's how you update it, and you could just start with that manual install in the first place to not have to update it. All right, thanks for watching and happy Plexing.